Yo, what is up everyone? I'm back again with another review. Today we'll be reviewing the Pulsar Pro Series JV-X. Now, just a quick disclaimer, this mouse was sent out to me by Pulsar, but of course that doesn't affect my thoughts and opinions for this review. Now to start things off, let's take a look what's inside the box. So over here you have your box for your Pulsar JV-X. Over here on the left side you have a nice picture of Jesse Vash from Team Secret. You have your details over here at the bottom. You also have a nice side view over here on the right. Now for the inclusions, obviously you have your card. As you can see, this is the JV-X card. You also have Jesse Vash on the card itself. You also get 16 dot skates. I believe these are the dot skates that are used for glass mouse pads. You also get a sticker with Jesse Vash's logo and signature, as well as your manual. You also get a USB Type-C cable with your 8K polling dongle with Jesse Vash's signature on the left side and his logo on the right side. Now the build quality on this mouse is nothing really too special. It is a very good and very solid mouse. Haven't had any issues with it whatsoever. It's pretty solid in my opinion. Now there is a little bit of wobbling on the mouse 1 and mouse 2, but it doesn't really affect me in game. And there is also a little bit of switch grinding on the mouse 1, but like I said, it doesn't really affect me in game and I barely even notice it when using the mouse. Now looking at the bottom layout, over here on the left side you have your on and off switch, DPI button on the right side. You also get these two nice large PTFE style skates, and you also get a skate for your sensor. As I mentioned before, these does have full-size PTFE skates, as you can see over here at the bottom. Now, these aren't the best by far that I have tried in my opinion. I think that Razer and Lamzu's stock skates are still one of, if not the best stock skates you can get at the market right now. But I would definitely not say that the skates on the Pulsar JV-X is not good at all. I do think that they are very, very decent. I would say that they are similar to Endgame Gear's quality when it comes to stock skates, and overall I do like them and they are definitely usable. But most likely in the future I will consider replacing them with dot skates, considering that I personally prefer dot skates a little bit more right now compared to before, where I was mostly used to using full-size skates. As for the coating on the JV-X, I do think that the coating on this mouse is really good, even though I have grip tapes on them. And by the way, these aren't your traditional mouse grips. These are actually badminton grips that I cut and DIY'd myself to put on most, if not all, of my mice that I'm currently using, like the OP1 and the Viper. But going back into the topic, I do think that the coating on this is really good. Almost on par as Endgame Gear and kind of similar actually to Razer's coating on my Viper. And overall, I think that the coating is just really good. When your hands get slightly warm and moist, it does get really nice and grippy, similar to other smooth and rubberized coatings out there. And even when your hands are dry and or the weather is cold, it does still get really nice and grippy. And overall, I do think that Pulsar's coating is really nice, or at least over here on the JV-X. Now the performance on the JV-X is honestly pretty good. I haven't really had any issues with it whatsoever, and I believe the sensor on this mouse is what Pulsar is calling the XS1 sensor, which from what I have heard from other people that have reviewed the XS1 sensor, or basically other people on the internet, they've pretty much just been saying that this is Pulsar's own implementation of the PAW3950 from PixArt. And overall, like I said, haven't really had any issues with it. No latency issues, no delays, no unresponsiveness, and overall just a really good performing mouse. Now, however, there is one thing that I pretty much don't like, not only on this mouse but also other mice that have the similar specs as to the JV-X, and that is the scroll wheel. I'm not really that big of a fan of light scroll wheels. They tend to just fail on me quite a lot, and by fail I mean like they just tend to actuate much easier compared to scroll wheels like the Endgame Gear over here, where the scroll wheels just feel a little bit more heavier compared to Pulsar's. And like I said, they are just too light for me. I'm not that big of a fan of how they perform for me in game, considering that I use scroll wheel to jump basically in Valorant, and having a light scroll wheel just makes it easier for the mouse to actuate and just forces me to jump mid gunfight in Valorant, and I'm not really that big of a fan of that. It does feel nice, don't get me wrong. Light scroll wheels do feel much nicer, in my opinion, than heavier scroll wheels, but in terms of performance, I would prefer slightly heavier scroll wheels like over here on the XM2 8K from Endgame Gear, where I just don't really have any issues with mouse jumping on this mouse compared to the JV-X. Now, the shape of the JV-X isn't your traditional ergomice where it just feels bulky and wide. For example, here on the Terra, in my hand, which is 21 by 10 centimeters, it just feels really bulky in my hand, and the JV-X just doesn't feel that bulky compared to the Terra, and that's mainly because of how slim it looks and is basically. And for me personally, I use claw grip, but I also tend to use my fingertips for micro adjustments or vertical aiming, and the width of the JV-X just helps me a lot to detach the mouse from my palm when aiming. It just gives me a much larger range of motion for using my fingertips compared to the Terra, where it just feels much bulkier. Yes, I am able to detach it from my palm and use my fingertips freely, but it just doesn't feel as good as compared to the JV-X, where I'm able to pull it in all the way from here, compared to the Terra, where this is pretty much the farthest it can go towards my palm, just because the hump is much higher compared to the JV-X, where, as you can see, it just slopes down over here at the back much more aggressively compared to the Terra, where it's much more rounded over here. And obviously these are two different shapes, but I think that the JV-X shape just fits me much better, and the shape just doesn't get in the way for when I'm aiming compared to the Terra, where, like I said, it's just really hard to use my fingertips more freely. Now, I do like the shape of the Terra, but me personally, I do think that the JV-X just fits me so much better, and overall, I do think that Jesse Vash did a really good job designing this mouse with still incorporating the aspects of an ergo mouse.
Irrelevant. Bring me the arsenal! Gotcha, fun! My turn!
Spike down B.
No charges.
One enemy remaining.
Now, should you buy the Pulsar JV-X? If you're looking for a mouse that is similar to the X-Lite or the Easy Shape from Zowie, but also different, then the JV-X is definitely the mouse that you should try. I think that the shape is just real nice and comfortable. Performance is just amazing as well. Had no issues with it whatsoever. Obviously, the scroll wheel could have been better, but it still feels real nice and good, nice and light. And the mouse buttons are also pretty decent, and overall just a really good job from Pulsar and Jesse Vash in creating this amazing mouse. Anyways, that's pretty much it for my review of the JV-X by Pulsar. I'll make sure to leave a link down in the description below to where you can get this mouse, as well as the links to my affiliates and discount codes for other brands. Now, if you guys enjoyed this review, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It helps a lot with the channel and for me to be able to make more videos like this for you guys. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.